Hello everyone, Craig Ripley here. Welcome to another edition of Living Off the Slab. As you can see, once again, I'm inside doing this video in front of a roaring fire with a hot cup of joe. And that's because it's April 1st here today, and this is not an April Fool's joke. We are having another winter storm here in the Northeast. It's raining outside right now, cold, and we're expecting snow later on this afternoon. So since we're stuck inside, I thought it would be a good time to cover something that I was asked to go over by one of my viewers, and I thought it was a really good idea. And that is to cover what I'm going to be carrying inside my first aid kit. Before we get started on looking at what's actually in the first aid kit, let's talk about why you want to bring this thing along. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. But essentially, you want to be able to treat minor cuts and scrapes and bruises, things that you might get from just a minor tip over on your bike or something that might happen around the campground. And also, you want to be able to handle some more major traumas as well. Now, for the major traumas, your job here is not going to be to, fix this person, the injured person. Your job is going to be to stabilize and possibly keep them alive until help can arrive. So what I did to start building my first aid kit was I went out to a website called First Aid Only, and as the name suggests, that's what they do. They sell first aid equipment. I will have that link on my website in the show notes so that you guys can go out and find that and purchase it as well. So then after I got the kit, it was basically good to go the way it was. There was only a few things that I needed to add to it, and we'll go over those as we go along here. So this is basically a kit for survival, right? It allows you to, as we talked about before, fix minor cuts and bruises and things like that. But then it also provides you some survival gear as well. There's a thermal blanket in here and a poncho, for example. You probably won't use that a whole lot on a motorcycle trip, but said it was in this kit, so I always bring it along. Thermal blanket, that could be beneficial if we have, a patient, an injured person that's in shock. So the first thing that we'll take a look at here are Band-Aids, right? And again, this is for minor kind of injuries, cuts and scrapes and those kinds of things. So there's a variety of different kinds and sizes of Band-Aids. And pretty much any first aid kit that you get is going to have this kind of stuff in it. Doesn't ever go bad as long as the package isn't open. It'll remain sterile, and also doesn't get wet. So these things, several years old now, but everything is still good. I can keep using them. So along with the Band-Aids, your kit should have several sterile gauze patches here, different sizes. Would be helpful, and also there's a sterile eye patch that comes in this kit as well. Along with those smaller gauze patches, you're also going to want something a little larger, right? So this would be for more like a major trauma where you've got to stop some bleeding. I also went down to my local pharmacy and I grabbed some other, non-stick pads that I could add to the kit as well. And also, this kit comes with a roll of gauze. And this is the tape that this kit came with, a small roll of tape. I added, however, a larger roll of tape. Also, in the case of treating minor injuries, or even more severe ones, right, you're going to want to sanitize the area or sterilize the area. So to do that, we have some alcohol pads here and also these BZK towelettes. And what this is an alcohol-free sterilization solution that you can wipe on the wound. Now also for bumps and bruises, headaches, muscle aches and things, you're going to want some kind of pain reliever in there. Now personally, I can't take any of this stuff, but you're going to want it, again, to treat other people. That's primarily what you're taking this kit for, is to treat other folks. So the stuff that comes with this kit, well, it expires after a while, so you have to replace it. So what I do is I just go down to the local pharmacy and get your pain reliever of choice, a little small vial of it, chunk it in there. And again, pay attention to the expiration date because you have to replace it every once in a while. Also, again, for treating small wounds and things, you might have to get some foreign bodies out of a cut or something. We have some cotton swabs, as well as there are some tweezers that come with this kit. Now, one important thing is that the kit needs to have some latex gloves included with it. And this does have one pair. I added a couple of other pairs and throw them in this big baggie to include. And that's, of course, because you don't want to expose yourself to blood and other fluids. Next, there's a cold compress that's included in here. So this is a chemical compress, right? There are two chemicals in here that when you squish it and break the contents inside, it causes a chemical reaction which creates cold, right? So it's a one-time use thing, and said you'll have to replace it if you ever have to use it. Now, this kit also came with a set of antimicrobial wipes. But as I'm going through the kit here, I see that there is an expiration date on these, which is back in 2012, so it's not any good anymore. To replace that, you can just go down to, again, your local pharmacy or, you know, any supermarket, and you can find some other antimicrobial wipe that you can use to replace it. So as I mentioned earlier, there is a solar blanket in here. Again, you would use that if somebody's going into shock and you needed to retain, you know, warmth, body heat. There's also a rain poncho in here. Again, are we going to use that in the case of a motorcycle? Yeah, probably not. I mean, we could, but more than likely your gear that you're running with will do the trick for you. But I keep it in here because it was included. This thing also comes with this little plastic banner that says that there was an accident and ask for help. So you can put that up in your car window, or in the case of the motorcycle, you can drape it on the motorcycle or have one of your riding buddies stand you know, at the edge of the accident scene, again, far enough away so they're not going to get injured, and, you know, display this to passing motorists. Lastly, before I get into a couple of additional items that I've added, this kit comes with a glow stick. And again, this is so that you can warn other motorists that there's an accident scene ahead. You might be able to flag down help with it as well. Again, obviously this is going to be used at night, you know, while you're waiting for help to arrive, for example. All right, so here are three things that I've added to the kit that I think are very important for we motorcyclists, because most of this stuff, as I mentioned before, is used for treating, you know, minor kind of injuries. We, however, may run into the situation where we've got somebody who is bleeding severely, who's had some head trauma, broken bones, for example. So you need to be prepared for that. Again, you're just trying to stabilize the person so that you can, you know, keep them safe until help arrives. So first of all, I have this, which is a little wire splint. All right, so if there is a broken bone, you can stabilize it, you know, using this. Secondly, you want a good pair of scissors here, right? I mean, these aren't that expensive. I think this is $6 or $7 down at my local pharmacy. But you want one for cutting bandage. You want a blunt end on it here so that you can get underneath the Band-Aid, but also that you can get under clothing and cut clothing off. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, I have a knife, I can just use that. Well, that's not such a good idea when you have somebody who is bleeding severely or has a broken bone or, you know, might have head trauma. You don't want to be jerking them around as you're pulling a knife up like this, you know, to cut through clothing. So a good pair of scissors is essential for you to carry in your motorcycle first aid kit. The last thing that I added that this kit did not come with is this one-use CPR shield. Again, I've never had to do this out on the road, but it might be possible that you might have to administer CPR, and so this will help, again, keep your exposure down from, you know, the injured person's bodily fluids. Okay, gang, that's pretty much what's in my first aid kit. Now, before I go, I want to reiterate to you guys that you need to go through your first aid kits every once in a while, probably every year, and make sure things have not expired. All right, I just did that in mine, and I got this baggie full of pain relievers and antiseptic wipes, and I even have one gauze pad that the package had come open, so it's no longer sterile anymore. So you got to go through it and make sure everything is in good working order. I said you should do that at the start of every riding season. And one last thing here, it's something that we're going to do on this trip up to Alaska, is I went ahead and purchased this DeLorme InReach so that we have 100% satellite coverage anywhere in the world that we go. Even if we don't have phone reception, we can now get to SOS, right? A emergency services if we need it, which I hope we don't. I'm not planning that we will, but we're going to have it available to us. So I'll go over in more detail all about this later, but being that this is part of first aid and emergency response, I thought it was good to talk about. So that's it for today. Thank you to everybody for watching. Remember, we've got some swag out there now, some t-shirts for the website. And also, we are raising money for Homes for Our Troops. Again, you can do that at my website at www.livingofftheslab.com. And also, thanks to everybody who keeps buying from Twisted Throttle by linking to my website. I appreciate all of the help. Thanks, guys. Hopefully, we'll be out on the road here pretty soon. Ride safe.